there's this crazy story that Jesus tells. A son goes to his dad and says, "Dad, can I have my share of my inheritance now?" In other words, you living, it's kind of an inconvenience to my future. I've got things I want to do. I've got things I want to see. I want to kind of get on with my own thing. For whatever reason, the father decides to come good on that request, and he breaks up the estate and gives his youngish son the share that is due. And you kind of wonder, is the son wanting to start his own estate? Is the son wanting to invest it? Is the son wanting to save it? Well, we quickly learn, as Jesus continues a story, that this son wants to spend it. And not just spend it, but actually blow it. Like literally waste it. The Bible says quite clearly that he spent it on wild living. I like picturing rock and roll, women, drugs, the lot. It's pretty wild, because this son has gone from this place of entitlement and inheritance. He was an heir to an estate, to absolutely hitting the rock bottom of desperate need. I mean, this is his father's son we're talking about. Things get so bad as Jesus is telling this story predominantly to a Jewish audience. Like, we read that the son has to get a job to make ends meet. And it's not just any old job. He's actually feeding pigs, which in the context in which Jesus is sharing this story is like the most humiliating job you could do, because pigs were considered unclean. Like, Jews didn't touch pork because they were considered massively unclean. And here we are, this son is now serving those pigs. It says that he's so low and so out of resource that he is tempted by the food the pigs are eating. And it's really interesting, because the story kind of turns, and Jesus says that this son comes to his senses and realizes that even a servant in his dad's house is better off than he is, pursuing his temporary kind of pleasures or whatever. And so he rehearses this speech. He thinks, I'm going to go home and I'm going to tell my dad sorry. I'm going to apologize and I'm going to come groveling back. And so he's rehearsing this speech like over and over.
Hey, Dad, it's Mark. I know I'm probably the last person you're expecting to hear from right now. But I'm home. Now you're home. I'm actually standing on your front porch. Look, I just want to tell you that I know I haven't been, the best son. Look, I guess what I'm trying to say is, and I'm sorry for that, Dad. You know what? I don't know what I'm doing, all right? You've been fine without me. I'm sure you continue to be fine without me. I won't bother you no more, Dad. All right. I'm just sorry. Sorry about everything. Bye.
So the son resolves to go home, and I think the audience that's listening to this story being told is thinking, man, the dad has got to be mad. I mean, this is shame culture. This son has humiliated him. So the dad must be livid. But Jesus is telling this story, and he brings this kind of curveball moment where it says that while he was still a long way off, the father sees him, implying that the father had never stopped looking for him, implying that the father was still waiting for his return. The father wasn't angry, the father wasn't mad, the father was filled with love, compassion and grace. And that moment where he sees his son, he embraces him. And in case you missed it, this is not some random dad and some random son from years ago. This is a picture of God's relationship to us. He welcomes us home. This is the essence of the Christmas story. Jesus left his home so that we could come back home.